Hello, my name is Riri Okoye and I am from Majestically Rare Events. I'm going to be talking to you today about 5 steps to confidently build relationships that lead to revenue even in a crisis. Now let me just tell you a bit about my background. So, I have been in Nigeria for about 12 years, but before that I lived and worked in the UK. I worked for the bank before, NatWest Bank. I've worked for various publications, including Pride magazine and FT magazines. I've worked for Channel 5, and my longest career was in the BBC, where just before I left for Nigeria, I was in events and marketing. So as I said, I'm going to be talking to you about building relationships. And I have a lot of notes because I have a lot of things to say here, so bear with me. So when I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about interacting with business contacts for mutual benefits that will lead to business. Now we are in social distancing season because of the COVID virus and all, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't still be in touch with our contacts, be in touch with our business relationships, because we know the saying, people do business with people they like, know and trust. So we want to build these relationships so that people will like us, know us, trust us, and eventually buy from us. So there are lots of benefits into building these relationships. It creates long-lasting relationships. You're turning your business contacts into friends. You're gaining social capital. I remember learning a long time ago that the more people you know, the luckier you become. And they say that your net worth is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. So the more people you know, the more that you're building that social capital. And it also brings plenty of opportunities, lots of opportunities that I have actually benefited for a long time in business. So it's very important in this season especially to confidently build these relationships. And I'm going to talk you through 5 steps that will help you to confidently build relationships that lead to revenue even in crisis, even in tough times. And the first one that we have to start with is to empower our mind. It really starts with the mind, because in these tough seasons, a lot of people are going through all sorts of things, a loss of confidence, anxiety, insecurity. But as business owners, we have to really empower our mind. And it starts with being confident in ourselves. We have value. You have probably been working for a long time. You have been in business. You have something to give. So you have to believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will believe in you. So you have to start with the mind to be confident. You have to believe in your abilities. You have to believe that all those years of working has value. So you have to, show yourself that way. Don't go with the mediocre. Don't go with everybody that's saying that things are tough, because what you say, you actually manifest into your life. You don't want to say that. You want to be positive. You want to focus on, knowing that even in tough times, you can build relationships that lead to revenue. So you have to reprogram your mind. I talk about this a lot when I'm doing courses, and I say to people that you have to, because the mind is full of so many things that either have come from what you believe. Some people think that networking is a waste of time. They already have their contacts. Some people, have that fear. There's a fear factor that what if I get rejected? So even if you get rejected, you just say, okay, next opportunity. So you have to reprogram your mind. And how you reprogram your mind, you have to actually build affirmations in this time. Start to say to yourself, I am a great networker. I have social capital. I can attract business contacts that are mutually benefiting. I expect good results to happen for me. I expect business to come my way. So you have to say that to yourself daily. And the more you say it and the more you believe it, you will see that even in this crisis, you can build relationships that lead to revenue. So the first thing that I've said to you now is to what? Empower your mind. Now, once we've empowered our mind, what is the next step? What happens when you're in war? You have to have a strategy, don't you? You have to have a plan. It's the same with networking. You have to have a plan. A plan is important, because failing to plan is planning to fail. And we don't want to fail when we're building our relationships that lead to revenues. So it's important to know what your goals are. What are you actually trying to achieve? Okay? That's something that you have to note down. What are you seeking? Who are you seeking? Who are you seeking? What do you want from them? Where will you find them? And how will you network? You know, even in business, we have a lot of plans, don't we? We have a business plan, we have our marketing plan, we have our social media plan, we have our pricing plan. You have to have your business networking plan in order to be confident to build those relationships that are going to lead to revenue in crisis. So you have to ask yourself those goals. You have to know your goals. You have to know who you are seeking. You may have quite a lot of social capital at the moment. You may have a lot of people on your network at the moment, but you may not be seeking all of those people. So it's important to know who you're seeking, where they are, where you will find them, and how you will network. So just to recap, we started with we have to empower the mind, don't we? Then the next thing we said is that we have to have a plan. Now let's move on. So we have our plan. We know who we're going to seek. The next thing, the most obvious thing, is where are we going to locate them? Where are we going to locate all these people that we want to contact? So there are so many places. You'll be surprised. There are your alumni. That means your school friends, your secondary school friends, your formal business workplaces, just everywhere that you've worked before, you can locate your networks there. You can go to your current database and go back to your customers. Kindly ask for referrals, or even if you have more products to sell to them, this is the time to do that. Go back to your current database. Another place you can locate your networks or your contacts is on your WhatsApp groups. We have lots of WhatsApp groups, don't we? And in those WhatsApp groups, although sometimes WhatsApp groups can be annoying, can't they, when you're getting all those messages, but you have to be intentional and deliberate at this time. So what type of groups do you belong to? Are they religious groups? Are they sports groups? Are they industry groups? I have an industry group because, as I said, I'm an event planner as well as a business trainer, and I have gain business even in this season just by engaging with my contacts, getting information, and the same for my business contacts too. Whooping up Full Circle Network Solutions right now, because that is a network. It's a WhatsApp group, and it's on Instagram. But we're ladies, we're business ladies that we're there intentionally to network with each other. And I tell you, I have attracted 6-figure businesses just from some of the ladies in the group. So thank you, ladies, for your referrals, your kind referrals. And this is what I'm talking about: confidently building revenue that lead to revenue, confidently building relationships, should I say, that lead to revenue even in a crisis. You have to really be intentional. So let's carry on, because there's so many other places. You've got your contacts, that is your phone book. Go through them, look through your contact list to see if there's anybody in there that you can, network with. There are webinars, of people that you may want to reach. And I've noticed in this, in this season, a lot of people that are speakers, they're leaving their contact details. You can get in touch with them, and you never know where this is going to take you to. Another place, the most obvious place, and the place that has really worked for me, is social media. Social media is just fantastic, Social media is great, because when you're on social media, you're being social, aren't you? You're building relationships. You're nurturing relationships in these social media platforms. Like Facebook is a great place for me, that I've found very useful. There's LinkedIn, there's Instagram, there's Twitter, So there's so many places that you can build relationships that will lead to revenue even in these tough times. Now, another area let's just go through the steps so that we're not sidetracked. Empower your mind. Yes, get that mind strong. Then you have to have a great business plan, a great networking plan, and then you have to locate your network. So we're now on to step 4. Step 4 is really about nurturing the relationships, because have you noticed, even in the old days of going for networking events, maybe you exchange cards and you left it at that. No, that is not how you're going to build relationships, especially in these seasons. You have to actually nurture relationships. And how do you do that? You have to contact people. If you have a contact, you have to get in touch with them, as regularly as possible. And you can do that by perhaps having a calendar, noting the date of when to call people, schedule an appointment, so that that you can really get in touch with people at the right time. So in your journal or your diary, just write it down. Maybe you have decided in this season that you want to network with 10 people, and schedule in your diary for each week who you want to contact and at when. Another way you nurture relationships by building, another way you confidently build relationships is that you celebrate your contacts. And this is so easy to do on platforms like social media. So remember, look out for their birthdays. And when you look out for your birthdays, say things to them on their birthdays. Happy birthday. Don't say HBD. Please don't do that. That is just so cold. So happy birthday, their anniversaries. If they are engaged heavily on social media, go into their comments. Say something. Just really, this is how you build relationships. You have to nurture them. And now that we have social media, it's so easy to do. So celebrate them on their birthdays and their anniversaries. And that is how you build relationships, even in tough times, because that's how they remember you. And remember, we're being intentional here, because we want people to like us, know us, trust us. We're trying to turn those business contacts into friends. Okay? So let's go back, let's recap. So we've empowered our mind. We have a business plan, don't we? We have a networking plan. We've located our networks. We're nurturing our relationships now. People are getting to know us more, like us, trust us. Now what's the next step? The next step is to give and ask, okay? Give. When I say give, what do I actually mean? I mean give engagement, especially on social media. Start to really build a relationship. Go into the places of the contacts that you want to engage with, whether it's on their LinkedIn, whether it's, wherever they are, and actually engage with people. That's how people start to notice you. You start engaging with them, you start to give them compliments. If they've published something that is really useful, read it, give your feedback. Another way you give is you give free advice. Start to watch your contacts, watch the people that you're building with. They may be asking for things. Give free advice. There are no strings attached, okay? Give referrals. People, are all the time are asking for referrals. So give them freely. Don't expect, don't just think, oh, I'm not going to give anything because I'm not sure that I'm going to get anything back. Just give. You'll be surprised what happens when you give. Give suggestions. So in terms of giving, give more than you ask. Giving really does lead to, revenue. It leads to people remembering you because they know that you're a giver. You can never go wrong when you are a giver. All right. So then that's when you've been giving a lot more than then once you've built the relationship, you're going to kind of know. You'll go with your intuition, go with your senses of what your senses are telling you. So when you start building the relationship, then that's the time after you've built the relationship, not immediately, is the time to start asking questions. Asking them even about their business, what they're doing, how's it going, just start to ask questions. And then when you get to a comfortable point, and when there's an opportunity, because you're always going to be looking for the opportunity, when there's the opportunity, then you can start asking for business. You can start, telling them about all the different things that you're doing right now. So you ask for business, you ask for referrals, and that's how, you go through the steps. As I said, it starts with you empower your mind first. That's where you get confident. That's where you program your mind, and that's where you think to yourself. You expect things to happen, and then you go onto your networking plan, because you're not just going to go out randomly. You're going to be intentional. And again, once you're intentional, you're going to start locating your networks in different areas. And then once you locate the people that you want in different areas, then you nurture the relationships. And as you nurture the relationships, you start to speak to people, you start to introduce yourself, you start to talk more about what they're up to. And then I mentioned that you give and ask. You give more than you ask. You give engagement. You give all of the stuff that I mentioned before. So it's important to build those steps. But these steps would not be complete. They wouldn't be complete if I didn't discuss business networking etiquette, because there is networking etiquette. Even though we're building relationships in these times, we're trying to be confident, we're confidently building relationships that lead to revenue. We have to really talk about network etiquette. And one thing I would say about that is do not stalk contacts. Do not bombard people with, oh, I want to speak to you right now. That is not professional. Always be professional when you are going through these steps. So don't stalk, because what will happen if you stalk people? If you stalk people, they are just going to, especially if you're doing it on social media, block you, even on a phone call. If you're always calling people all the time, you just become a nuisance. So please remember, do not stalk. It's about building relationships. And when you're building relationships, you have to understand boundaries. And people are busy, remember. So don't always expect that even when you contact people that they're going to be able to speak to you right now, or they're going to be able to engage with you right now. It might not be like that. And don't take it personally. So remember, do not stalk. Another thing in terms of confidently building relationships is that you have to be polite. We have to be professional. When you're talking to people, at first you may, depending on the relationship, you may have to start with their surname first, and as you build the relationship, then if you don't know them well, then at a point you may start speaking with their their first name, but you have to see how it goes. And then see yourself as adding value to people. As I mentioned before about giving the free advice and just giving away to people rather than you trying to get. Because when people see that you are valuable, that is when they want to actually build relationships with you. Always leave a good impression. I've had people that have tried to network with me, and it's just been, when I see their name or they call me, I just want to switch off, because they're not, they haven't left a good impression. Maybe they have this expectation that, things are just going to move so quickly. So no, it doesn't happen like that. Or sometimes it can happen like that, but don't expect too much. Leave a good impression. Don't be the type of person that if you're trying to contact somebody, they're rolling their eyeballs and they're thinking to themselves, oh my God, here we go again. And then when you are in these relationships, especially when people have done things for you or given you things back, always say thank you. Always either say thank you or send thank you notes. And even, what is even great is even when you actually tell people online that, oh, this person really helped me with this. So when you do things like that, it builds a relationship, okay? And then if you have an appointment, even if it's a webinar appointment, even if it's a Zoom appointment, stick to time. That is like real number one etiquette. Stick to time. You've been building a relationship with somebody, and then it's actually time to engage with them, and it's 12 o'clock. You're not there. You're not at the appointment. You're not on Zoom or wherever you're having the appointment. Please stick to time. That is really important. Another thing that's important in terms of building a relationship and this network etiquette is actually following through. So if you said that you're going to do something for somebody, follow through. Follow through, because people always remember these things, It's so important to follow through, especially if you've made a promise. Follow through, deliver what you've promised, and you will find that you build these relationships. So once again, what I've been talking about throughout here is just nurturing relationships that lead to revenue even in crisis. The most important thing about all of the things I'm talking about is that you have to be intentional. You have to have a strategy. You have to be friendly, because when you are friendly, people are friendly back to you. And when you do all of that, it starts to, you see the difference. But it starts, remember what I said, in the mind. So once again, my name is Riri Okoye, and I am from an organization called Majestically Rare. If you want to follow me, I'm at Riri Okoye on Instagram. I'm also at Majestically Rare events. We actually do trainings like this, and we have so many online trainings that we're offering to our audience right now, especially on how to sell in tough times, because we're in tough times, aren't we? But really today it's all about building those relationships, confidently building these relationships. So once again, I want to say that if you take all these strategies, empower your mind, have a plan, locate your networks, nurture your relationships, give more than you ask, if you do that, and bonus, practice network etiquette, I believe that you will really get those get those contacts that will lead to revenues even in crisis. I know that I don't know how long this crisis is going to last for. I just want to say, stay safe. Remember to practice the social distancing, wash your hands, all that good stuff that we do. But most importantly, be positive, because in life, seasons come, seasons go, and we know that this is a season, and we hope the season will go very quickly. But in that time, even though we're social distancing, we still want to be in touch with our clients, our customers, our friends, our contacts. We always want to be in touch with people. Social capital, when you have social capital, it is such a benefit. I have benefited so much from building relationships, and I believe that you can do that too. And some people will say, oh, they're an introvert, they're not very good at speaking to people. Take your mind off all that. I'm not saying that you have to be the most outgoing person to build relationships, but you're building relationships because you have something of value to give. And you don't have to be the most, the biggest talker, because people actually like talking about themselves more. So if you're the type of person that listens, that's actually a really great benefit. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the summit. Thank you. Bye.